Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm here with Dr. Ben Kohl. Dr. Kohl is an executive coach and a psychotherapist in private practice. Thank you, Dr. Kohl. I really appreciate you being here today.
Well, thanks, Amira. It's a pleasure to be here.
Terrific, terrific. So, Dr. Kohl, I know that you have known Mary Pender Greene for some time and you're familiar with her concept and have, done this work with her, right? What was the process like for you to form a virtual personal board of directors?
Well, thanks, Amira. The process was actually very gradual and also very rewarding. So, Mary and I do go back a ways, and over time, you start to recognize the value that people have in your professional development. And folks come and go on the virtual board because our needs evolve and change as both learners and professionals. So that process has been gradual. It's been rewarding because ultimately you end up with authentic and genuine relationships with folks that you trust and that you can count on and that you can be vulnerable with. So I found the idea of it quite rewarding, and it continues to be inspiring.
Terrific. That's absolutely terrific. Was there anything that surprised you about your virtual personal board of directors?
Yeah, I think how really empowering the structure of the concept has been. It's easy to say, oh, I would like this person to be my mentor. But when you look at Mary's idea more closely, you really see that it's a strength-based model, and that it's giving you permission to identify strengths in other folks around you, and that's a good thing. And so, I really think that it's in some way demystified the mentoring process and added a lot of good things about, this person might be super to talk with about an ethical dilemma, or another person, around a diversity issue, et cetera. So I've really found the structure helpful, and I usually am not a person that cares about structure as much as I probably need to.
I hear you completely on that. Okay, terrific. So the structure has been helpful, and it sounds like it also helped you to really identify and access expertise that you needed in different areas. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, great. And the virtual personal board of directors, for those who don't know, is also called a VP bod, right? So how has having a VP bod impacted your career?
Yeah, I mean, I think back to the early days with Mary, and I think it really demystified and empowered me in a lot of ways. Mary and I would run programs in group supervision or multicultural anti-racist training. And she said, well, call this person and see what they think. And I said, I can call them. And she said, of course you can. And,
Yeah.
that she sort of gave me the ability to go ahead and put together folks and really rely on and draw from the expertise of folks that I wouldn't have taken the chance on or sort of presumed that I could do that. So, along my career, it's been an amazingly empowering idea. And I'm grateful for Mary and to many, many others that have sort of gotten to me where I can sit now.
That's absolutely terrific. That's wonderful. And how has it, in the long run, impacted your professional decision-making process?
Yeah, a lot of this is about internalizing the strengths of others. WWMD was something, what would Mary do?
Yeah.
It was an idea that sort of occurred to me after we stopped working together on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I think a lot about how the concept has helped me with decisions related to anti-racist organizing in particular. What does it mean to truly be identified as an ally? How having people that I know will give me honest feedback, and that I also know that I can be vulnerable enough to accept that feedback and think about it. So I'm always checking myself now with board members around my decisions. How might I not be seeing the forest or the trees because of internalized racial superiority or other forms of implicit bias? So operationalizing those needs in a virtual board of director has been absolutely indispensable to me in my growth as a professional and in my human relationships as a straight white male.
Yeah, that's absolutely terrific. I appreciate the fact that you're bringing in like your own vulnerability around it and how it's, helped you to access that and be able to bring that forward and connect. I think that's amazing. So Dr. Kohl, if we had, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
No, no, no. I appreciate I thank you for saying that. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, terrific. You're welcome. So if you had to choose one single piece of learning that impacts you the most from Mary's book, Creative Mentorship and Career Building Strategies, How to Build Your Virtual Personal Board of Directors, what's the single piece of learning that you feel had the most impact on you?
I think there's a couple. Well, I mentioned that it really is a strength-based model for us professionally, and to look at what we're good at and where we can improve. Uh, the other piece of it is it's really, for me, has been a model to understand networking and, in a broader sense, community organizing. Mary and I trained early with the People's Institute for Survival and Beyond, and one of their key principles is, networking, and they call it building a net that works. And when you sort of break down the virtual board of directors and what that ends up being as you contact people and develop professionally over the years, and have board members that move beyond maybe the jobs where you met them or the activities that you're engaged in, and they become real relationships, that network strengthens and grows exponentially as this concept sort of gets activated. So, that the idea of networking has been just super helpful. The virtual board of directors has been super helpful in thinking about networking
Yeah,
and how we rely on that professionally.
absolutely. That's terrific. Absolutely. And I'll chime in and say that's also one thing that I definitely took away from it. So I can totally relate to that. Is there anything that you'd like to add?
I think so. Let me see. Well, I think one of the things that I've learned, and I just quit my day job, so I'm not retired, but I quit my day job.
Congrats.
Is that it doesn't end, and it really reminds me a bit of the ideas that we used to have about cultural competency. That you're never culturally competent. That there's always more to learn. That it's the journey. And
Yeah.
I think Mary's books and this idea in particular, have emphasized that for me. That it's a continuous journey. I think the last thing would be, as a CEO, or maybe as a younger person than I am now, in the field, it's easy to underestimate your impact on the people that are on your board.
Mm,
As I can remember not too long ago when people would come to me and start, giving me, asking me questions and meeting with me. I said, "Oh wow, they're kind of looking for a mentor.
mm,
Oh, this
yeah.
is, I'm going to be on the other side of this thing soon." And I realized, how much it meant to me to be able to be on the other side. But as a CEO, you're creating spaces for your learning, which are the same spaces for other people to be teaching and learning themselves. And I think a lot of times we think, oh, well, I'm a passive recipient of somebody's wisdom. It's not that. You're creating wisdom in the process. And so, be open and be willing to be surprised by how important you become to the people that are on your board.
That's absolutely terrific. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Ben Kohl. I greatly appreciate this, and I will share this information back with you shortly. And we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thanks, Amira. Take good care. Appreciate what you're doing here.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
terrific. Bye-bye.